Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mupo and Friends. We are,
Emanuela Messina,
and I am Michelle Mupo.
and we're brought to you all by Mupo TV.
And you can catch this show and many others, because we do have many others, at www.mupotv.com. And if you want to know more about our company or you're looking for a career in the Mupo entertainment industry, just hit us up. Also, we have a gala coming up July 21st. We're doing the making of Mupo Entertainment.
Yes, that's going to be a fun time. So if they want to be a part of the gala, how do they do that again?
Well, they go to the website and they go to where the store is, and they could either purchase tickets or they could become a co-executive producer. Now, because that's a big deal to have that title, a co-executive producer. Plus, we're going to be on IMDb. We're already on there anyway. And it's the real deal. So with that said, we're here to appease everybody. We really are.
We are. It's going to be a really good time. But not only that, what did we do recently that we have not shared yet?
Okay. We have the brand new magazine, and boy, is that shiny. Okay, you just boy, and now it's not that shiny. And that's the first issue. There's a second issue. You could still purchase them if you want. Go to Mupo Entertainment, click the magazine button, and order. Oh, look at Alpha Jr. He looks great in that. And you did an amazing job with that.
Thank you. I was actually really honored to do it.
Media.
Yeah. So good.
With that said, we're on Android and iOS too. And yeah, if you guys hold that up again.
Where'd it go? There you go.
If you guys want to take your phone and just snapshot that little QR code, that'll take you right to where we can get the tickets.
Yep.
The other thing, we're on Android and iOS, right? So Vimeo, Facebook, YouTube. We don't really use YouTube that much. The only thing we use really is our app. We are technically, the Hulu, the Netflix in the making. And if you want to be a part of that, where you own your own material, you're not, we just don't want no negatives. Like, I shouldn't say negative. We don't want no pornography. That's what we don't want.
No.
But, with that said, download the app, and you could also catch us on Roku and Fire Stick through the Mupo Entertainment app. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm very excited to have our guest come on after the commercial break. She is very talented, but I'm going to save that details for after the break.
And we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with our special guest.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mupo and Friends. Our special guest today is a multifaceted artist who has made her mark as a singer, songwriter, and actress. Born in Washington, D.C., she was raised in Canada, where she developed a love for music from an early age. She began her career as a musician by performing in local venues, honing her skills as a singer-songwriter. Her captivating voice and unique sound soon caught the attention of the music industry, leading her being signed with Universal Music Canada in 2005. Since then, she continued to make waves with her soulful melodies and introspective lyrics, earning critical acclaim and a devoted fan base. In addition to her musical talents, she has also appeared in several films and television shows, showcasing her range as an actress. With her creative spirit and passion for storytelling, she is a rising star watcher in the world of entertainment. And please welcome Hayley Sales. Hello, Hayley, and welcome.
Right
hey, wow.
Hello, Hayley.
That's a nice pitch. That's a great way to start the day.
We try to keep it positive,
Yeah, thank you.
So good.
And to start off, you had a leading role in Corrective Measures, right? Opposite Bruce Willis, who's like obviously A-lister, right? What was it like working with such an iconic action star?
Well, at first, absolutely terrifying because I had no idea what to, he's been one of my heroes forever. So I remember walking into the first day we were going to be filming and working together. And he probably sensed that I was a little nervous, as we all might be. And he just came across the room, was like, "Hi, I'm Bruce Willis. How are you?" I'm like, "I'm good. I know who you are." Like,
Oh,
very unpretentious. He kind of took me under his wing. I felt like he treated me like a daughter. And then getting to act with him. Well, I mean, he's one of those actors that's just a genius. Like I feel like the best actors in the world that you can't stop watching on camera, they're just themselves. Like they're so comfortable letting themselves be seen by the camera and thus by you, that just getting to act with him was like worth all the acting lessons I ever had, because he's so
I
present,
love it.
so present. And between takes, he wouldn't leave. He would just, I was supposed to be his doctor, so he was just sitting in the little chair next to me, and we just talk. And he was very sweet. It broke my heart when the news came out about his health condition. Just, oh
I know.
yeah, so heartbreaking. It must have happened really fast. It's just heartbreaking to hear.
It is. And
But yeah, he was amazing.
I hope they find cures for that, because
Yeah,
Same.
right. That sounds terrible. I can't
Same.
even fathom that. So, but yes, he was a sweetie.
Can you tell us a little bit about your storyline and the character that you played in Corrective Measures?
Yeah, actually, it's a phenomenal premise. It's based on a Canadian comic, I believe. I'm not entirely sure where the comic originated from, but it's
I'm
about.
from Canada.
Oh,
I
there
am.
you go.
I am.
That's exciting. Well, hello.
Hey.
As I lose my earbud, but it's based on a prison for supervillains.
Mm.
And the fun part is I get to play the doctor at this prison that actually has a great relationship with all these supervillains. And it's very amicable, and they love me and I love them. So it's this really fun plot. And for me, a really fun character to get to see in these people categorized as evil or bad, as they're supervillains, villainous people, to get to work to see them as people I want to treat and people that are my friends. So it was really fun. I should watch it, and the action's fun if you like action.
And not only are you obviously an amazing, talented musician and artist, you're also have a recurring role on AMC's Lucky Hank. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that I still pinch myself. I don't know how that happened. It was being on set with all of those genius comedians was a dream come true. I grew up just infatuated with I Love Lucy, I loved comedy. And I mean, this is the flavor of comedy because it's still very dramatic and real and grounded. I just loved it. It took everything in me to not die laughing watching Bob Odenkirk or Dietrich Bader like just banter. It was so incredible to be on that set, and I get to play a slightly misplaced news reporter. I love to wear hot pink and do my hair up all fancy. Meanwhile, I'm in this small, not rural town, but a small town where everyone's wearing their, academia, sweaters and button ups. And I'm like, I'm in pink. So it was very fun to get to bring that flavor and kind of be I'm trying, like, how do I say things without giving things away? Get to be a part of the faculty in a different way.
That's awesome. And Amazon subscribers can also catch you as a female lead in the rom-com Just for Summer. And this is one of those feel-good movies. Can you tell us a little bit about that film and the role?
Oh, again, rom-coms and me are besties. they're my happy place. I've had a long day. I'll just turn on a rom-com I've seen a billion times because I'm so romantic. They always sweep me away, and I'm always sobbing by the end like a baby. So in good ways and bad ways, depending on how it turns out. So just for the summer, getting to be a lead in a rom-com was a dream come true. And I got to play a frustrated writer who goes home and voila, there's her childhood sweetheart that dumped her. And I'm sure you can imagine what ensues. But we filmed it all in 3 weeks in Canada. And I just had the best time. I love being on those sets because everyone's just having fun. You know what I mean? It's a very warm, it's like the movies turn out. They're very warm and bubbly and light and lots of fun to be around.
That's amazing. Well, we're going to take a quick
Mm.
commercial break and we're going to be
Yep.
right back with Hayley.
And we are back with Hayley Sales. So this brings us to the collaboration with obviously Sharon Stone, who's like another legend. Like you just, it's like, it's amazing. You're like, you have the best energy. So obviously the people will get drawn to you. Tell us about that. I'm sure you were nervous about that, right?
Oh yeah. Well, so it's actually, it's kind of one of those amazing stories that feels like it's not possible, but it just happens to be possible. Proof that anything is possible. I had a friend at the time. I just lost a record to a big label. The president had left, and it happens all the time. Suddenly, the new team shelves your record, and I couldn't buy it back. And so I was in a very, let's just say, a very not good place. And he reached out. And he's like, actually, I have this okay, well, Sharon Stone is, she's written some songs with other artists before and is really interested in writing with a woman. And I played her some of your music. Would you be interested in doing a co-write? And of course, I'm thinking, I've never done a co-write. Like I've only ever written songs in the middle of the night when they happen. If I try, I'm terrible. Like, it's just like, I don't take credit for the songs. They happen when they want to. So I was terrified about that. And it's Sharon Stone. I'm like, no, sure. Give me my number. That's great. That's great. Forget about it. Don't think it'll happen. About a week later, get a call and it's a block number. I'm just walking around LA, pick up and I hear, Hayley, it's Sharon Stone. And I almost caused a traffic accident by stumbling into the street. And she invited me to her house. I went up there and she had this gorgeous grand piano and this gorgeous like open space in her living room. And we sat down and she asked me, I've listened to your music. I think it's all very, very good, but I also feel like maybe there's more to you than you're showing. And I started laughing because my mom always jokes about the fact that she's like, you must be the best actor on the planet because you've made everyone think you're easygoing. And it's true. I'm not at all. I'm very, very like dramatic and, I have all the highs and all the lows. And so Sharon, basically being very intuitive, caught on to that and said, well, you know what? You're just in the prime position to really make a record that's you and stop worrying about whether people like you, because the more you do music, because you have to do it, like that it's just crawling out of you, you have to do it, then someone else will want to listen to it. And so it was this, we wrote Never Before, which was, my kind of ode to how romance has been such an important part of my life and the way I see the world. And yeah, I love her. And she's been so helpful since. She helped me kickstart the promotion of the single, which was kind of my, I'm back after
Beautiful.
not being allowed to release music in years. So yeah, I love her. She's a sweetie.
That's an awesome story. I love that. I literally got chills when you were walking in.
Oh.
Like, when the block number is like Sharon Stone and you're like, what? That was so cool. I love
like
that.
Mouthful of sandwich.
So from the sounds of your lyrics, it seems like you are very emotional. Has that helped you through all of your songwriting? Some of it?
Yeah, well, you know what? Yes. The only downside is I can't write like I was saying earlier, I can't write a song if I'm not feeling it. So all my songs are incredibly personal. I've always found them, I wouldn't say as therapy, but as cathartic. Like if I'm going through something, I'll sit at the piano and sometimes it'll happen like that, like the Sharon Stone song in 2 hours. And sometimes it'll be this process that haunts me. Like I'll have most of the song done, but one lyric you can feel it hasn't clicked yet. And I'll just wake up in the middle of the night for 3 weeks straight. So I think I think being emotional, or shall we say, enjoying the rides that emotions give you, has definitely kept me very conscious of art and how important it is. And yeah, I don't know if I'd be here without being able to write songs. Like they're so important to me.
And obviously your music has changed from the past to now. So how do the fans take that? Because you have a wide range of fans. So I mean,
yeah.
and I'm one of them.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I love your voice.
Thank you. Well, it's kind of a funny story. When I was a kid, like I was in love with musicals from the 40s, and everyone from Ella Fitzgerald to Judy Garland to Frank Sinatra. And I kind of was that misfit that I actually really, really thought I was in the 1940s in some ways. I didn't know The Simpsons existed. I missed like all pop culture in the 90s and early thousands until I was like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm not cool. So I put away that whole side of myself, and actually all the songs I'd written that were that style, and got really into my beachy surf self, which is I've been known to be a chameleon in my life, so that they're authentic, but they were something I thought people would like more. And I tried to hide all my intensity, shall we say, all my passion. So yeah, what? I'm really curious to see how many fans come with me. I will find out, because I haven't released much of the new stuff yet, but what I'm doing now is it resonates the most with what I did when I was a kid before I tried to be cool, which I failed at anyways. So I've given up on that whole thing. Who wants to be normal anyways now?
I feel you on that one.
Yeah,
right?
Point,
like I give up. I'm going to be a misfit. That's much more fun.
We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
With Hayley. So I want to talk about your dad, who is a very seasoned musician in his own right, and having played with the Ramones, the Grateful Dead, and Miles Davis. In addition, he owned a recording studio. Was he a big influence on you, and did he expose you to music at a very early age?
Yes, because my mom was busy taking care of my grandma who'd had a stroke. So I, as a little infant, basically lived on the mixing board of the recording studio, and all his clients would come in, and I'd just be there like literally a toddler in diapers in the recording studio. And I'm sure it's like you absorb so much when you're a baby, like you're just a sponge. So I'm sure even if I don't remember it, I was just absorbing melodies and beats and all of that left and right. And having the recording studio growing up was really empowering. And he would, whenever I wanted to come in, he'd let me come in. And one of the things he taught me very early on was how to teach myself, which always frustrated me. I was like, I want you to just do it. He's like, no, here's the mixing board. This is this, this is this. And then he'd just sit. And if I had a question, be like, oh, yep, that's how you do it. But he really taught me how to learn, one, and two, how to run a recording studio. So it's been instrumental in producing my own albums and really finding ways to bring out the sounds that I'm hearing in my head. And yeah, of course, like he brought to my obsession with Judy Garland all the music from the 60s and blues and all these other artists I would have never been exposed to. I mean, he introduced me to Ray Charles, and Ray Charles is like my hero. So I owe so much to my dad and my mom. But yeah, he donated all his time after I lost that album to me doing this next one. And it's been an incredible labor of love, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without him, because not cheap. It's definitely not cheap to make a record. So thank you, Dad.
Oh, love it.
That's amazing. And I want to know the transition, because obviously you were at a young age when I started, and I'm sure when you started, it was analog, right? And now it's digital. What do you, how like you're changing that? Obviously, it took me a long time to learn the digital because I was so fixated on doing a 2-track or taking everything from 2-inch tape to 1/4-inch tape to dropping it down.
Yeah.
And the thing is what do you like better, sound quality? And do you like analog? Because analog kind of it's to me more real.
Yeah. You know what? I actually am obsessed with analog. And a funny thing that I only learned after doing 2 full records was I am terrible at performing without doing it live. And so we've worked on coming up with a way that I'm actually recording all the piano and vocals at the same time. And I don't listen to a click, because I found that I was trying to become perfect with digital. And even listening back to the 2 records I did with Universal, while I love them, I'm like a little 16-year-old, it's so cute. I tried to perfect everything to the point that I might have drained out a lot of the art, like who I am. And so this time around, it's been so fun to not edit. Even though we are doing it through Pro Tools and digitally, I'll do 1 take and that's it. I'll leave in all the breath. The piano is MIDI, but I'll nudge it just a little bit and try and leave it imperfect and then create tempo maps from it for the band. It's if I could do it all in analog personally with my style, I would. I see the beauty of digital, but I also think, at least currently with current music, we've become addicted to the perfection of digital music. And I really like the messiness of humanity, like when art, right? Like when you listen to pretty much anything pre, I guess, 80s, 90s, you hear breaths, no one's perfectly in time all the time. That's why you love it. There's an unpredictability in the passion that's coming through these artists. So I hope even more artists start, even if they're using digital, trying to implement the mood of analog. And so whenever I can use analog, like we've even bounced everything to tape and then back into Pro Tools, because I just love the sound.
Yeah,
That's like, why do you want to do this? Why? Here's this beautiful, easy machine called digital. I'm like, no, I like the texture. It's like,
how big is the board though that you use? Do you use like a 40-track, a 60? Like how big?
It's I'm trying to think. It's big. It's a big one. But I've actually been doing most of it in the box, to be honest. And then the mixing I send to Michael Brower, who's like, he blows my mind how incredible he is. Yeah. And he's been doing all of this album for me, and I love him. And like I'll send him everything, being like, my mix is okay. And then he sends it back and just tears are bubbling out of all possible places. Like he takes it to that whole level. He's a genius. I don't mix my stuff anymore because he's so good.
Yeah. I use Mike Costanzo, and he comes up with some real interesting stuff. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's fun when you get a great mixer, because they, you'll be like, oh, well, this is the featured instrument. And then it comes back and they've pulled out this thing that you thought was just a bed track, kind of a pad organ. And suddenly it's like the song's the organ. You're like, wow, I would never have thought about that. And that's the beauty of collaboration though, right? You find people better than you at things and get them to do them for you.
Yeah, if you have the funds for it. Some people don't have the funds. That's probably why all this digital came out anyway, because
it's true.
Yeah.
It made it accessible. And that's why, I do love that everyone has the access, but that's why if there was a way that we could move away from the fad of digitized music and just use it as a tool to create really great music. Like I like hearing instruments in songs and in pop songs, like I miss that, right? Like, oh, that's piano. I know that that's not a synth. That's, I think it's probably because I know how to do that. Sounds like you do too, that style of music. And I don't know, maybe it's a preference, but I feel a renaissance coming with art, which is pretty exciting.
Coming back.
Oh, it's coming. I can feel it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I want to know that you've mentioned in many ways that you feel like you grew up in the 1940s. I want to go back to that for a second because I thought it was really interesting. Despite you being a millennial, like, what does that mean? And would you actually want to go and live in the 1940s if you could? Just curious.
I don't think so. I think,
Okay.
what's funny is I think it'd be fun to time travel. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? If you asked me when I was 9, oh yes, I would have hands down been like, duh, I want to marry Gene Kelly. Yes. So I think perhaps as I've grown older, I've realized as a woman how challenging it would have been to be in that era. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm really grateful that for whatever reason, I was just saturated with love for the melodies and the movies and art of that time, because I got to absorb it. But I think that I'm really happy to be here now, and also excited to potentially open the door for people to rediscover all this incredible, almost extinguished art. Like, you can't find some of this stuff anymore now that it's all digital and streaming. And I hope to open the door to a whole new, it's not new, that's the irony, it's all been done before, but to open the door for audience and musician members alike to rediscover, because it's a gold mine. The music back then, it's so
I agree.
boldly romantic, and the melodies, it requires you to really learn your instrument. So I guess that's for me, I thought that was a fun challenge, but it's just beautiful. So that's a very fascinating question, actually, though. I've never been asked that. I like that one.
Good. Awesome.
So tell us what's next for Hayley Sales. Like, what projects are you doing?
It's this record. Like, to me, that's my everything now. It's trying to do everything in my power to have it blossom. And so we're getting like the last master back to one of the songs in the next coming weeks. Of course, I've decided to do one more song because I have time. Like, why not? And then it's going to start coming out later this year and into the next year. And then I'm going to work on a Christmas record that I've been dreaming about for a while. That's in that very 1940s. Nice. And I've been writing songs that feel like that. And I mean, it's the one time of year everyone listens to the music that I love. So of course I love it. And just seeing how it can turn out, because it's been a long time coming, and it's everything to me. I can't wait to get back on the stage again. That's my home. So that's what's next for me. And then you never know, right? Things just.
Well, we need you in Jersey, because I State Theater, they play. I mean, Dionne Warwick's going to be there, even Pat Benatar, and but I mean, they have all these groups. Chicago's a real band too. Like,
they're incredible.
They are.
Yeah,
I get excited when they come to town.
That's awesome.
You definitely got to come and do the tour for all the theaters. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the conclusion of our interview with Hayley Sales.
And we are back. And before we wrap things up, we have one last question. What has been the biggest lesson you've learned from being in the entertainment industry for so long?
Oh, that's a good one.
A
lot. I think gratitude. And the reason I'll say that is because I only realized how many things I had to be grateful for once I lost it all. And I'm actually now grateful for the collapse of my entire life too, because it taught me how important it is to value friendships and to value anyone who's willing to help you at any time. And so, I mean, I have to say one other thing that pairs with that is to never let someone change who you are. Just let them add to it. Because I definitely was really young when I started, and I desperately wanted to be liked. I was very ambitious and very insecure. And I think I may have taken the long road, because I formed myself into an identity of what people thought I should be versus just being me. Because it's so much easier to just be yourself. And even if it seems like more of a risk, in the end, that's what art's about. It's about risking everything and being as incredible, as an authentic and transparent as possible. And so don't give up, no matter how many people tell you there's a schedule in your life. There isn't. You could make it at 50. Who knows? You can make it at 20. You can make it, like, never give up. If you truly love the art, and have gratitude for everything that comes your way.
That's a
That was
Virgo
beautiful.
speaking.
Right?
That's beautiful.
I know.
That's so good.
I love it.
Yeah.
So good. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure visiting with you today. You guys can follow, like, and subscribe to Hayley Sales on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Hayley Sales. That's HAYLEY Sales. And you can also find her at her website, which is www.hayleysales.com.
And as always, thank you for tuning in to Mupo and Friends. And you could catch this show and many others at www.mupotv.com. That's www.mupotv.com. And you could also catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, and make sure you download our app on Android and iOS on your phones or your tablets. Because we're in 144 countries right now, and we are rocking. We're not stopping. And don't forget, July 21st, we are doing the making of Mupo Entertainment, the first annual Gala Awards. And if you want to be a part of it, you want to be a co-executive producer, just hit us up at mupoentertainment.com.
This is Emanuela Messina with our host, Michelle Mupo. And until next time,
have a Mupo awesome week.